Welcome to the South Bay Midweek Prayer and Bible Study. I know you're going to enjoy today's presentation. The live session is even better because we pray together at the beginning. Feel free to join us Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m. You can find the link on our website. Now sit back and enjoy some spiritual refreshment.
There are a couple of quotes I want to give you to start with. And in Colossians, we're told, see to it that no one takes you captive through hollow and deceptive philosophy, which depends on human tradition and the basic principles of this world rather than Christ. And we're given this advice through the agency of evil spirits. Strange gods were introduced, and because of transgression, the chosen people were finally scattered from the land of promise. And we're wanting to talk about these. This history, Satan is striving to repeat in our day. But God is leading his people out from abominations of the world that they may keep his law. And because of this, the rage of Satan knows no bounds. So what we want to talk about this evening are some of the abominations of the world. And we know the creation story, but in pagan societies, there is also stories of origins. And at first there was chaos, and then from that light emerged. Darkness remained and formed the earth. And as a result, there is light and darkness remaining today, and the yang and the yin are represented in this way. And unfortunately, in this scheme of philosophy, both good and evil need to be present, and they need to be equal, and they need to be balanced. And even evil, represented as black, has a spot of good in it, and even the good has a spot of bad in it. And if you think about this symbolism, you need to reject it. There is a dualism that's here. The good is male, positive, dominant, light, hot, sky, and yang. Evil is female, negative, passive, darkness, cold, earth, and yin. And sickness results from an imbalance. And if you're in total balance, then you've got good health. And so if you're in imbalance, you have a disease or a sickness of some kind. And the purpose of therapy is to restore balance. If you have a fever, then you have to eat foods that are on the list of cold. And of course, batteries have positive and negative. And these are the things that these ancient philosophies use to restore balance. They may be herbs, a different change in climate. You may cast a spell. You may have sacred stones. There may be colors that are particularly important. Certain minerals are important. There are dances, certain liquids that might be useful, flowers, meditations, numerology. I saw a lady walking along the street, and I mentioned to my friend, oh, this must be one of your neighbors. And he said, yeah, she changed her name recently. And I said, why would she change her name? Did she get married? He said, no, if you added up the numbers to her, the alphabet of her name, it came up to be a bad number. And so she changed her name. And now if you add it up, it's all good numbers. And so her life now has balance because she changed her name. And people try to do this with music, with charms, alchemy, certain spoken words that you can repeat over and over again. And there are basically three cultures in which these healing systems have arisen. Now, every small culture has its own healing system, but Hippocrates on the island of Kos was a Greek physician, and actually all of modern science emerges from his followers. In India, there is the Ayurveda, from which meditation and yoga has emerged. And in China, you have traditional Chinese medicine. Well, fortunately, in India and China, modern science has come in and taken over, but there are still residual systems, and they are frequently consulted. I know when I was living in Korea for a while, uh, uh, the someone saw that I had a little deer head with some antlers, and they wanted those antlers so that they could be ground up and powdered and made into a tea, because the antlers took a long time to grow and have a lot of concentrated energy in them. And this is why elephants are killed for their ivory, and why rhinoceroses are killed for their horns, so that they can be powdered and used in traditional Chinese and Indian medicine. The Ayurveda in India divides the body into 5 different areas, and we'll touch on those in a minute. But energy balancing therapies include all of these: acupuncture, homeopathy, reflexology, and we will be looking at some of these specifically. The Chinese approach, they divide the body in a vertical manner, and they have 12 vertical divisions or meridians. And in their system of understanding, qi or energy flows through these meridians. And they have all these points mapped out. And if you're sick, then they can use acupuncture and put them in spots where healing is necessary. And the Hindu approach is a little different. You have 7 chakras, and they produce an aura. And by massage or attention at one of these 7 sites, you can then reproduce healing. Astrology has got into this. And depending on which sign you're under, or which organs are giving you trouble, well, then you focus on that area. Now, there is a false science that says that specific locations on the body represent the whole body. Now, the truth is, the mind, the brain, is the control center for the whole body. But these people believe that perhaps the whole body is represented in the hand, or the soles of the feet, or the iris, or the ear. And so hand reflexology has all of the organs represented in the hand. And so if you have a sore shoulder, if you push on that part near the little finger, then your shoulder is going to get better. And if you have kidney problems, you push on the kidney spot in your hand, your kidneys will get better. And then there is ear reflexology. People believe the entire body is represented in the ear, and you can see outlined there a fetal form with the head at the bottom. And if you're having trouble with one area of your body, you can press or puncture that area in your ear, and it'll restore balance. Here is a more exact map of all of those spots on the ear. The right ear represents the right side of the body, the left ear, the left side. And there are people who believe that the whole body is represented in the tongue. And clear at the back are your right and left kidneys. Up front is your heart, in the middle, and your lungs. And by massaging certain areas, you can restore health to those organ systems. We need to understand this is something from Seventh-day Adventist literature that says the brain is the capital of the body, the seat of all the nervous forces and mental action. The nerves proceeding from the brain control the body. And so there you have a very clear statement, which I believe is scientifically accurate as well, is that the nerve endings everywhere in your body connect with your brain. And if you're using any system of healing that uses any other part of the brain, you're not doing the right thing. And here's a further part of that quote. By the brain nerves, mental impressions are conveyed to all the nerves of the body as if by telegraph wires, and they control the vital action of every part of the system. All the organs of motion are governed by the communications they receive from the brain. Well, we have reflexology, started back in 1913, and they feel that the body is represented in the feet, And there you have the various organ systems. And by doing various massages at various parts of the foot, you can restore perfect health to the individual. And they believe there are 7,200 nerve endings in the feet. Well, fortunately, we have trillions of them in the brain. And crystals develop in the nerves of the feet. And if you massage those crystals and break them up, then your liver will get better or your kidneys get better. You have Rolfing, which is not a legitimate kind of physical therapy, where they correct things by moving the limbs. It's a kind of strong massage therapy. And then you have cranial sacral therapy. As you know, the brain is bathed in liquid and it goes down the spinal cord. And these people believe that by holding on to the neck, you're able to detect when these waves are out of balance, and by adjusting the neck, the waves get better. I have seen Adventist pastors and their wives having cranial sacral therapy in their church on a regular basis. The most delicate machinery that measures waves has never detected anything in any wave motion that can be detected by your fingers or by anything else. And then there's therapeutic touch. You don't actually have to touch the individual. You just sort of hover over the individuals and sense the energy flow there. And in England alone, there are 100,000 therapists. And it was developed by Dora Kuntz, who was a spiritualist. And you first do centering, and then you do an assessment to detect these energy fields, and then you unruffle them and transfer energy, and you cure people that way. And a 9-year-old girl did a very nice experiment published in the British Journal of Medicine, also the Lancet in 1998, that showed that this was absolutely fake. And she had a blinded person on one side and then asked them to detect when her hand was over their hand. And this was shown to be absolutely fail. There is the claims of therapeutic touch are groundless, and further professional use is unjustified. And here is another rather crazy one, flower therapy. And they believe that dewdrops have healing energy. Dr. Bach discovered that the dew that accumulates on petals of wildflowers before sunrise was changed dramatically by the presence of sunlight. So now these dewdrops just at dawn have a tremendous energy potential within them. Each plant's dew has a quality of its own, a type of energy absorbed into the dew that could be used as a specific remedy. These can be applied to correct imbalances in the astral and mental auras of man. And so you can prepare these flowers who have been exposed to the early morning sun, and they now have 38, Dr. Bach had 38 different essences, but now online you can get over 500 different flower essences that you can use to cure various diseases. I find this to be very interesting too. There is aromatherapy that can come from so-called essential oils, and these can be rubbed on the skin or used in baths or placed in boiling water and inhaled. And the oils are the carriers for these aroma. They have never been demonstrated to have any scientific benefit with anybody, but there are people that really like it, and I have seen church members adhere to this. And there's magnetic therapy. You can buy magnets, and magnetic therapy is used to alleviate pain. Scientific studies using magnets and fake magnets show that there's absolutely no benefit in magnets in revealing pain, but they'll give you a chart where you can apply these magnets. And here is some counsel. The mother watching by the sickbed of her child says, "I can do no more. Is there no physician who has power to restore my child?" She's told of the wonderful cures performed by some clairvoyant or magnetic healer, and she trusts her dear one to his charge, placing it as verily in the hands of Satan, as if he were standing by her side. In many instances, the future life of the child is controlled by a satanic power which it seems impossible to break. This can come from magnetic therapy. Should not be done that way. Iridology finds organs in the eyes, and they have a map of all the parts of your body in your eye, and they can tell current or future conditions. And this has been studied scientifically, and they think there's 500,000 nerve fibers just in the iris. And in 1988, 5 leading Dutch iridologists received stereo color slides of the iris of 78 people. Half had gallbladder disease, half had normal gallbladders. They were not able to diagnose correctly those who had gallbladder disease and those who didn't. And there was no agreement among these 5 leading Dutch iridologists. So it has been totally refuted. And then we have guided crystal healing and meditation. You put these crystals on your mind and it can control your thoughts and heal your bad thoughts, or you can place them on your body and in various places, and this will restore balance and bring healing to you. There are other practices, hypnosis, divination, acid-based diet therapy that's really popular now, raw diet therapy that's been really popular. And this is an interesting observation by a Samuel Pfeiffer. And he wrote a book called Healing at Any Price. And I thought this was a choice statement. He said, unfortunately, many Christians are not able to discern if a healing method has been infiltrated by the enemy. They then fall prey to occult practitioners, especially when their first goal is health at any price instead of asking for God's will at any price. And I think that we should always pray for the sick and ask that God's will be done. And there are some who are so desperate to regain health that they will try anything at any price. And it would be much better for them to ask for healing from God and ask for his health at any price. And back up one here, let me see. This I thought was an interesting observation. This is a quote from Deuteronomy 7:25 and 26 in the New Living Translation. You must not burn their idols in fire, and you must not cover the silver or gold that covers them. You must not take it, or it will become a trap to you, for it is detestable to the Lord your God. Do not bring any detestable objects into your home, for then you will be destroyed just like them. You must utterly detest such things, for they are set apart for destruction. And I think as Christians, it behooves us as to weigh very carefully what represents truth, what represents true science, what represents things that will restore my health. And we should not be quick to latch on to any of these things because they are natural. They may seem to be natural, but the truth is they have no basis in truth or reality. And we should seek God's will and be careful to avoid these things. Thank you.
Well, thank you for joining us today. We hope you found today's presentation to be a blessing to you. And you know, it's never good to keep things to yourself. It's always best to share them. So find someone that you can share what you have been blessed with others. If you enjoyed today's presentation, let us know by hitting the like button and subscribe to this channel if you want to know when there's new presentations coming out. God bless. Have a great week. We'll see you next week.